is everyone doing today? Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. Made it through another week. Welcome to the Friday decompression session. This is my Friday jam sessions. Glad to have you. Glad to have you here. LinkedIn user said it is Friday. Amen. How is everyone's week going? Where on this beautiful green globe are you tuning in from? Always like to know that. That is James McKinley rocking out. Eric Long tuning in from LinkedIn. Welcome, Eric. He's got his first cocktail ready, so I'll bring the music, my friend. You bring the BS. Glad to have you all with me today. We made it through another week. Like I said, welcome to Q3. We hit July already. I cannot believe half the year is gone already. That is absolutely nuts to me. If you agree with me and you just have no idea like where in the world time has flown by this year, drop that in the comments and let me know. Danny, welcome. Glad to have you on the show today. Good to have you back, my friend. Happy Friday to you as well. He's tuning in from Nottingham, England. You guys are about 5 hours ahead of me, if I'm not mistaken. It is 12:48 p.m. here on the East Coast. I'm happy to get another Friday going. Here in the States this week, it might be a short week for those of you who are tuning in. Maybe you're watching the replay. It is kind of a halved up week, if you will. We had July 4th this week. The dancing spaceman. He like that. I hope you like that, James. I had a little too much fun making some infographics. So Eric is tuning in from Florida. Glad to have you, Eric. It's about 75 degrees, overcast and humid as all get out here in Ohio. So Danny said it's 17:45. It is cocktail time for you as well. Awesome. James, I don't know why it's coming up as LinkedIn user. I apologize, but I can see you over on LinkedIn. James is tuning in from Manchester, UK. I always get a strong contingent from the UK. This seems to be a really good time for you folks. But yeah, I'm happy to have you here. Let me know whether or not this is the first live stream you've ever caught, or if you happen to be watching this on the replay, that is awesome too. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate everybody who tunes in to sometimes my nonsense. If you have no idea who I am and you're watching this on a replay, or you're just sitting behind the scenes maybe right now and have no idea who I am Andrew Moon. I run a company called Orange Nomad. My goal, my mission in life is to turn underdog entrepreneurs into calm, unstoppable CEOs. I do that through systems, process, and through live streaming like this. But I am happy to have you here tuning in, sharing your earbuds, sharing your screen with me. This is an Ask Me Anything. I've got a few things planned that I want to kind of give you a sneak peek on things that I'm doing behind the scenes. But this is a Q&A session as well. So this is Ask Me Anything. Feel free to drop your questions in the comments for me. And let me know if you've got questions on, maybe it's another YouTube video that you've seen. Danny said, not a regular. It sets me up for the weekend. That's why I do it. That's why I like these Friday sessions. We can just jam, decompress, and maybe even learn a couple things. So if you have a question, put the letter Q : and type your question in. That way I can answer any questions. We usually start off doing some Q&A if there are any, and I'll have some dedicated time at the end as well. Let's see, Danny said the best question is best resource for UK MSP contracts. Yeah, I believe there are some in the tech tribe, and if you want to check out Pete Matheson may have some as well. Check out Pete's YouTube channel. I think he's got a whole course, but he might have some in there as well. I know Pete does a lot, provides a lot of resources in the MSP space, kind of like I do. Danny said yes, and some services, but keen to hear what others are doing. I'm assuming you're talking about MSP services. But yeah, if you have anything to share for Danny as well, kind of without knowing where you're at in your stream, in your journey as a tech provider. Yeah, so Danny said, yep, got him on my radar. $1,000 a year. He's just getting it together. So yeah, he's been doing it for a year or so. I know he's got like just tons and tons of resources in there, Danny. But yeah, if any of you IT providers happen to be joining the stream today, maybe have some suggestions for Danny as to, he's keen to hear what others are doing for services in the IT space. So if you have some ideas, one of them I would like to see more folks provide, just kind of letting you know, Danny, I don't see enough of this type of format, just asking questions. Just get on, answering people's questions. I think that's a great way to build the know, like, and trust, either through live streaming, record it. You can do recordings. I'm trying to think of who it was the other day. Let me see if I can find him on my LinkedIn. He asked that question whether or not he should do a Q&A session, because he's had a lot of people ask him. The name left me for a minute. Let me see if I can find it. But I resounded with an absolute yes, yes, and more yes on that one. Oh man, I got tons and tons of scrolling to do. Adam Voss. So Danny, if you don't know Adam, he said that should I do a IT live AMA like this, an Ask Me Anything session? He said so many people in the world and so many questions. And I think that still holds case in the IT industry. People have a lot of questions around IT, especially if they're business owners. And I think providing a format like this, where you can just get on and you preload the questions. A lot of people get nervous about doing these live streams that nobody's going to show up. But I guarantee you have a list of questions that people have right there. You're sitting on a gold mine inside of your ticketing software, whatever your PSA solution is. I guarantee you have a gold mine of Q&A, probably for hours of questions that you can answer for people live on a format like this. You can build know, like, and trust. They can get to know you. They can see how well you do at answering questions. And I think it's a great way to build that trust factor. And that's the biggest thing in the IT space. The largest thing that you have to overcome is trust. That is a huge gap between, just people don't trust IT folks anymore. We're getting a reputation as bad as, attorneys. No knock to those of you attorneys that are happen to be watching. And used car salesmen. But I think, we have the ability to change that narrative. But I think that's a great question. But yeah, if anybody has any other feedback to give Danny as well, I'm happy. But I would like to see there be more free education. A free education to small business owners. One of the things that I did, now that we're back outside of COVID, I would be doing in-person events again. By the way, Danny, you have access to my lunch and learn session. Just dig that up, do a quick search on the tribe. I talk all about what I did, and that was a very, very, very successful strategy for me to get business and for me to be a thought leader in my market. Was hosting my own lunch and learns under my own topics. I give you my 6-week checklist of how to do that. But yeah, if you can't find it in the tribe, let me know. But that is a resource that has been there for a while. So that is one thing I would be doing. That was one thing that I would be putting on my agenda, doing some regular education for IT, business, doesn't matter what it is. I would be educating people and getting out in front of the narrative. Speaking of that, I'm going to take a quick drink, tune up the jams. If anybody's got any comments, if you're just joining us live over on LinkedIn or YouTube, say hello in the comments and let me know where you're tuning in from. I do have a few things that I want to talk about this week, and I also want to kind of give you a behind the scenes as to things I'm doing inside of ClickUp. A lot of people ask me questions about ClickUp. I made a mess of it, but I'll get to that in a minute. But again, if you're just joining us, have questions, type in the letter Q:. I'll have some dedicated Q&A time at the end of today's stream as well. But I also want to educate people and entertain while we're here as well. So let me turn up the jams, take a quick drink, say what's up in the chat. Thanks for the great question, though, Danny. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. If you're just joining us, welcome to the show. It's Friday Jam Session. We're going to decompress, have a little bit of fun on a Friday afternoon. Let me turn this music down a little bit. But I did want to talk about a couple things. I thought I would start this part of the show talking about entrepreneurship, running a business, but breaking free from the overwhelm. I see a lot of business owners right now that their business has a chokehold on them. And I think that's, it's just, let me kind of tell you a story. I mean, a lot of people, I just sat and started doing some off the cuff writing the other day. Threw in some chat GPT in there as well. But as entrepreneurs, just imagine this. Once upon a time, all those good stories start out with that. Once upon a time in a bustling city, there's a passionate entrepreneur. We're just going to call him Alex. He built a successful business from scratch, but little did he know that the business would soon have a stranglehold on his life. Alex always had big dreams of being his own boss. He wanted to create something meaningful, something that would make a difference in people's lives. So he took that leap. He left his 9-to-5 corporate America job, started his own business. Now, in the beginning, Alex poured out his heart and soul into his business. Late nights turned into early mornings, and he worked tirelessly to bring his vision to life. Sound familiar? His dedication paid off, and soon he actually had a business that started to thrive. Now, I don't know where you're at in your journey, but like Alex, once the business started to grow, so did the demands on his time, his energy. Alex found himself juggling multiple roles: CEO, manager, accountant, HR. He was wearing all the hats. Unfortunately, the weight of that responsibility began to take its toll. Weekends became a thing of the past as Alex sacrificed his personal time for the sake of his business. Friends and family felt neglected and relationships started to suffer. Then that constant pressure and stress started to drain Alex's creativity. It sucked the fun out of his life. What was once that passion project now felt like a burden. And he started to wonder if it was all worth it. But one day, Alex stumbled across a YouTube video, or maybe he attended a business seminar to promise to help entrepreneurs find balance in their lives. He was intrigued at that point, so he decided, okay, I'm going to watch this YouTube video, or I'm going to watch this online stream. Then Alex just felt good. He went back after watching that YouTube video or attending that seminar. He realized he did need to make some changes, so he started delegating, hiring competent employees, setting boundaries. Started to reconnect with his friends, his family, made time for dinners, weekend getaways, and they all lived happily ever after. Now, as a business owner, many times over, I know that it doesn't always end happily ever after. And then the reason that I talk about this week, I was on a call actually on Sunday night, this past Sunday night. I was on a call with a very good friend of mine, and he was like me. He sold his IT business. He grew it, felt successful, sold his IT business. But when you start to unpack it, he started a new company because he felt trapped in his old one. But unfortunately, with his new company, his newfound success, he again found himself in that same spot. And I felt so bad for him. His business was actually thriving to the point where it was choking him, just like his IT business. And that was one of the biggest reasons he sold it. He did not want to have his business have that stranglehold, that chokehold on his life. And right now he's working 7 days a week. He has staff in 5 or 6 time zones. His key tech support employee just quit a month or so ago, just vanished. And now he's crushed by the weight of managing everything by himself. And to boot, this is the difference between now and when he ran his IT business. He now has 3 kids to support. If that sounds familiar, drop that in the comments if you happen to be watching this on the live stream. Let me know if any part of that story sounds familiar. But there is hope. You have a choice. And that's really what I was hoping came across in my conversation. And I've had hundreds of coaching conversations over the past year and a half to couple years where people feel in that same spot. And I was in it before as well. I know it well. I know what burnout looks like. I know what it looks like when your business is actually sucking the life out of you. And every day is harder than the one before it. But I'm here to tell you that there is help. If you're in that position, I implore you to reach out. I am more than happy to help. There are people that can support you. Running a business, being an entrepreneur, everybody thinks is glamorous. But there is a dark side. I'm not going to say that there are some amazing things about being an entrepreneur. And I've been an entrepreneur since 8 years old. I could fill up a whole episode about that. But I want you to know that you can break free from that chokehold. But at some point, you have to make the choice. Because I promise you, the flip side of not making that choice is an extremely scary place. I just wanted to tell that story this week to hopefully maybe give that as a wake-up session. You're watching this show today or listening to this podcast episode. I've talked about it before on previous episodes, but I think right now we're hitting an acute point, especially for friends that I've had for years in the IT industry. But again, you have a choice, and that is, if there's one takeaway that you have from today, that is it. You have a choice. Take control. Break that stranglehold that your business might have on you. There we go. I'm going to jump off my soapbox now. I'm trying something new this week. That part of today's show is actually, I'm going to talk about repurposing content. That is another thing that I have been really bad at up till now. But if you have any comments on that, and what if you're running into challenges as an entrepreneur, I don't want to pop a bubble in this. That's what this Friday Jam session is all about, is to be that camaraderie that we all need, especially going into a weekend. So anyway, that's my soapbox for this week, talking about that. But yeah, speaking of which, let me flip back over to my notes to see if there's any comments in the stream. But if you're just joining us, I see a few more people have joined us on YouTube and LinkedIn. Say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. So I'm going to We're going to get clicky with it here in a minute. I want to kind of go behind the scenes on some things that I'm doing for content like this. So we're going to get nerdy and do some building and maybe a tutorial or two. Danny, let me know whether you're still here. If you've got any further follow-up questions, let me know that as well. Eric, hope you're still with us as well. Happy Friday. James, to you as well. Quite a few hanging out on LinkedIn. If you're just joining us, say what's up in the chat. Anthony, my man, I'm back, my friend. It's good to see you as well. Starting to get things back under control this year. Obviously, parts of this year haven't gone as planned. But Anthony, glad to have you back. We got a lot coming. So I'm going to talk about today. I've been struggling the last year trying to stay consistent with these live streams, staying consistent. I don't think I've done a full podcast episode since January. But yeah, just have so many things going on I want to get back to now that we're in that second half of the year. Trying to make a shift change. To get back to regular content creation, teaching, I just have been itching to get back and to interact with folks. So everybody seems to like these Friday jam sessions. We might have to do a couple Friday or Thursday jam sessions the next couple weeks. I'm going to be doing some volunteering the next 2 weeks on Fridays. So I will be out of office the next couple Fridays. But yeah, if you're just joining us, say what's up in the chat. I love this song. I think it definitely represents entrepreneurs. As you see, I can't dance. It's hard to dance when you're sitting down, but I love this jam. We're gonna rule this world. We're gonna heal this broken heart. We're gonna rule this world. We're gonna make a brand new start. We're gonna rule this world. We're gonna rule this Love that song. All right, now we're going to get into the teaching part. I've got to bust that up and mix things up a little bit on a Friday. Keep you on your toes. So if you're just joining us, again, say what's up in the chat. Glad to have you here. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you. Can't thank people enough. Hey there, fellow underdog entrepreneurs. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to take you behind the scenes on my content planning workflow inside ClickUp. It's a work in progress, but hopefully there will be some practical tips that you can swipe, maybe help you master your content planning process. Before I get all clicky with it, I did want to say and give a shout out to Yvonne Hyman from Ask Evie. I'm going to put her channel link up here in the comments if you're over on YouTube. Also would like to thank Layla from Process Driven. Definitely check out their channels, and I'll have links in the description as well. They both have been a huge inspiration in helping me tackle the overwhelm that I created inside of ClickUp. Yes, I made a big mistake. One of the things I've been working on this year, simplifying my ClickUp because I over-engineered the crap out of it. So if you want to see the big mistake I made, check out this video. I'll link it in the description as well. So let's just get into it. Let's get clicky with it. Show you what I'm working on. One of the mistakes that I made with ClickUp is I just jumped in there and just started creating spaces and lists and checklists and all of that stuff. But one of the changes that I'm making this year is taking the time to sketch out the process first. Before I start trying to build it out in ClickUp. That was a big mistake that I made last couple of years with ClickUp, is I didn't map that out. So what you're seeing right here, let me turn on my mouse controls real quick here. Yeah. So I'm going to show you what that looks like in ClickUp, by the way, in a second. So get my handy mouse working in a minute. Maybe. There we go. Maybe not. It's working on one screen, but not on the other one. That is wacky. So let me flip back over here and see if I can get that mouse working. Technical glitches in the matrix. And you IT folks know exactly what I'm talking about too. There we go. All right, so now what I'm going to do is go through and mind map this thing. That's kind of what I skipped that process, didn't take the time to actually go through. And this is a free app, whimsical.com. Just figured I was going to go ahead and map out that process. So for me, the biggest challenge I'm trying to solve right now is how to be more consistent creating content, trying to build community around content. And that is the challenge that I had with having a methodology. I've had stuff everywhere in ClickUp, and I want that problem solved. So what you're seeing right here is what I've sketched out. And again, thank you, Layla from Process Driven, for getting me onto this idea of mapping out the process first and then building it in ClickUp. So if you have made the same mistake with ClickUp, drop that in the comments. Curious to know. I know I'm not the only one that's made that mistake. So what I'm going to do is just walk through what, for me, and this may change, but this is a work in progress. So the first part of it is just the idea process. I can come up with ideas all day long. I get inspiration when I'm reading books, when I'm studying YouTube. It doesn't matter, but I have ideas out the yin yang. People give me, ideas all the time. So the problem for me wasn't ideas. But that is the first part in a creation process for me, is coming up with the ideas. And then there's the actual production, what I'm doing right now, the production side of things. And then next is promotion and split testing, trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. Then doing analytics review just to see, did things work, did they not work? And then maybe doing some maintenance. But what I'm going to cover today and show you inside ClickUp, because again, it's a work in progress. I'm still getting there. So we're going to do the orange stuff. big surprise. I know the orange stuff first. So what I did with the ideas process is I created a list inside of ClickUp with the light bulb status. So that is over here. Down here, I've created an idea not started status inside of ClickUp. So that for me was the first one. And if you're not familiar with ClickUp, there is actually a Google Chrome plugin that you can have where it will capture in bookmarks for you. So I get inspiration all the time. I capture things and they automatically go into a list. And I also have things on my phone as well. I created a widget on the homepage of my phone. So when I get inspiration while I'm out, I can click right there. It creates a new task. ClickUp 3.0 is going to be able to call that what it is, a new idea, and it will automatically go onto this board right here. So that is step number one, was creating a list and having that particular status, which was idea/not started. So I haven't really done with that because not all ideas are going to make it to the cutting room floor. We're not going to produce it. And that's what I found, is not all the ideas are worth, going after. So the first thing I need to do is kind of triage that. So is this a topic or a keyword that my audience wants to learn about? If it's not something that maybe I should do right now, then I have it moved to this status right here, which was back burner, where it's not approved. So, but I needed a place to put those. So that's what I did. I created a back burner category inside of ClickUp. So let me just show you right here. Actually, I moved those. So all the back burner ideas go into a separate list now. So they would go into this status right here, which is back burner. So that is something that I did recently. So that's not all the way set up, because I found that list became like super busy. As you can see here, if I go back to my content ideas and I look at that list of all the things that are ideas not started, there's a bunch, and I've segmented that into an inbox so I can capture that. But let me just see here. Ideas to process. So that's the next part, is things that maybe make it to that I've captured. I need to do something with them. So that's the part of this triage process. Either they're going to go make it on to the next sorting round, which is research. So let me go back to all content ideas. So the things that I think would be great to move into research. Maybe I need to do a little more research on it. Maybe I need to do a poll on LinkedIn, whatever it is, but just kind of vet that idea. A lot of people want to know, how do I use ClickUp to run Orange Nomad productions? So I want to go full behind the scenes on that. Quite a few MSPs have asked me, how do I use ClickUp for my MSP? So these are things that I'm vetting right now and doing more research on. So that's where I would sort those out. And one of the things that I did here with that triage process, once a week, I will go back through my ideas list. Like this one right here, I have I've segmented a list to go through all of these things right here. So these are all things that I've captured in the last month or so. But I have on a regular basis, I will go through and figure out, okay, what do I need to do with that? And then I will just move it on to the next status. So all I have to do is check this button. As one of the other things I'm playing around with automation. So if I custom field changes, just kind of give you a sneak peek what that looks like. So if I check that box that it's approved, if it's an idea I want to pursue, it's going to go ahead and move it into the in progress board and then mark it status as booked and planning. So that's this process right here. So if there's an idea, and again, I've simplified the process, all I have to do is check one button and then it marks it as approved and then goes into my content plan. So that's the first part of the process. That's as far as I've gotten so far. But yeah, it's just, like I said, I'm just simplifying everything, condensing multiple lists of stuff, moving things around. But if you want to see this whole thing, we're going to be breaking this down in future videos where I'm going to show you what that production process looks like. Those of you who are Team Orange members, you're going to get access to the templates once we go through all of these and I work out the kinks in the production process. Then you're going to see the production process is going to go on and where this content will live in other places. Because what I'm trying to do is duplicate my efforts so that I'm not making content every single day of the week. I'm doing things like this where we're recording a live stream, but I'm doing a podcast segment out of it. I'm doing YouTube shorts. I'm doing, Instagram reels. I'm doing multiple form content. Going to be doing blog posts. I'm going to be having a newsletter with some tips and further resources. So that's where everything is going to go. That is the roadmap of where I'm going with things inside of ClickUp. But I started with the process first. So that is my biggest tip to you, is start with a process first. I definitely, like I said, mapping this out took less than an hour. And once I mapped it out, it became super easy to go in and make sense of things. It's much easier to set up once I had that done. And now that you have your space set up and organized everything, then I can have my ideas start flowing. Because for me, every time I opened ClickUp and I went to my ideas board, it kind of froze. So that's a sneaky peek of what I'm working on right now. It's just the beginning of where I want to go, like I said. So if you want to see more videos, obviously like and subscribe. In the meantime, if you want to see how I started the process of decluttering my ClickUp, check out the video up in the YouTube cards. And if you happen to be watching this on YouTube, if you could help a brother out, if you can like and subscribe while you're here, if you found this video helpful. Until next time, happy ClickUp. Anybody else using ClickUp? I know Anthony is. He said, you mean ClickUp isn't supposed to be busy as it is in the first brain? So if you didn't get the pun, second brain is what I'm trying to create. Tiago Forte. Google that. Great idea. Unfortunately for that process, his process is a bit overwhelming for me. I'm just a country boy hick. I got to make things super darn simple for me to get it. But yeah, if you've created a mess inside ClickUp or just want to know how to get started with ClickUp, drop it in the comments while we're live right now. If you're watching this on the flip side on the replay, let me know. I'm going to see if there's any comments that have come in so we can answer questions now. That is the next part of what I talk about today, is just answering some questions about anything that I've covered today. I don't see any comments in there, but let's listen to some jams. I'm going to take a quick drink, move in, and wrap this brother up. If you're just joining us over on LinkedIn or YouTube, say what's up in the chat. Let me know you're here. Glad to have you on a Friday afternoon. Danny, if you're still hanging out, let me know whether you're still here. If you got any further questions, this is kind of our Q&A time and just wrapping up. Maybe something I covered today might give you a little bit of inspiration. If so, I hope so. But yeah, let me know in the comments. So Danny is still here. Glad to have you, my brother. Let me know if there's if you want to take a deeper dive on some services. I was hoping some other folks who were tuning in live might be able to give you some ideas. But yeah, if you've got any questions, this is kind of the pick my brain type Q&A. I did have a question come in over on YouTube this past week. So I did want to answer this question. Abel Mora said, "Hey Andrew, does your actions list import tasks from other spaces to consolidate all of your action items there?" So he's got a couple questions there. So we'll break that down. So we'll cover this in a second. Does your dashboard module tasks to process sync to actions list? So he had some questions. I'll show you my dashboard inside ClickUp. So most of that I think was around most of that was around my dashboard. So thanks, Abel, for asking that question. What I'm going to do here is we will go ahead and pop over. I'm going to go back, pop that back up on the screen, and then what I'm going to do is go inside of my ClickUp. So all right, so Abel, what he was talking about is my productivity dashboard. So if you're curious about my productivity dashboard, I did kind of lightly cover that in a previous YouTube video. But he specifically said, does my action list import tasks from other spaces? So I think he's talking about specifically, I have an actions list here. So that is all of the things that are recurring, to do, and back burner tasks. So that is a separate list that I have. So to show you where that pulls in, I've got today's actions right here. So let me just go into edit mode. And then I hit that little cog wheel right here, go into settings, and I can show you. So this is just a task list inside the ClickUp dashboards. So what I did was went through and I picked which spaces, and yes, I have way too many. That list is going to get way shorter here shortly. And then I had them group by a custom field called do on, not DUE, is what day do I want to do that task on, or what day do I need to do that task on. And I know I found a better way to do that. This is just one I had started. That's again part of my process to change. And then I've also have those lists to filter things that are assigned to me. The start date is today or earlier, and the status is not. Obviously, those would be done or completed. So things that are still outstanding. So all of those tasks are going to pull through and show up right here, which is my today's actions. And as you can see in my Calm methodology, which is collect, action, live, and maintain, I have things that we do maintenance on. So I review analytics, which I talked about in the earlier part of the show, backing up all of my stuff, my bits and bobs, my Stream Deck, my Ecamm, my Rodecaster. That is a recurring task that I do every single Friday. Website, plugin, and core updates. I see what's available and run those updates over the weekend. And then I obviously have a co-schedule review. I've got to update that video for co-schedule. If you're not familiar with co-schedule, link is in the description. That's what I use for my social media content planning at the moment. That's always subject to change. Next part of your question was, does your dashboard module task to process sync to my actions list. So that is actually part of that. So if I go back to my action list, and there's my task inbox, and then I can sort by back burner tasks. So I think that is one of the changes that I've made since that video. So things I need to do. So I think I did change that. I had a to action, but obviously as soon as I create action items, I put them in the list that they need to go to. So hopefully that answers that question for you, Abel. The other question, how do you get your quick links module in your dashboard to look clean and neat like that? So I'll show you exactly what that is. It's super, super easy.
Super easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
So I'm going to hit that little cog icon. All this is a text block, and you can add anything that you want in this text block. And this was an awesome little feature that I found inside of ClickUp, and that is called button. So just type /button. You can create a new button. You can call it whatever you want. So a test button. I can have that go wherever I want. I can have it go to an external website, but primarily I use those quick links to jump to things inside of ClickUp. And by the way, if you weren't familiar with that, every single thing inside of ClickUp, you can have a URL. So just a little quick FYI and a quick hack. So let's just give you, don't want to delete that. So if I go in here and I go to edit, I'm going to show you, this is my testimonial capture form, and that takes me exactly straight to that capture form inside of ClickUp. So I can change the colors, I can align the text button wherever I want. So that is my button. So obviously all of those things are just different buttons with emojis. That's all it is. So if I click this here, I can type in any emoji that I want, bring up my little emoji keyboard. If you're on a Mac, you can have an emoji keyboard. I believe that is available on Windows too. Anyway, I got a thing for emojis. So then when you're done, obviously hit save. But that's what I have for quick links, is just buttons that take me places. Add automation. So if I click that, that's going to take me to my automations list, where I have started to collect a database of every single automation that I have running in my business. And by the way, where it's located and what technology is used to run that automation. So for those of you, that's the tech nerd coming out in me, I document my automations. That way, if I happen to switch tools at some point, which we have, like this one right here, I move from keep to high level. So whenever I need to change an automation, I know all of the tech that is used that is going to be affected by that automation or that process. So if you want to see a future video on that, let me know. Happy to cover a video all on automations and tools to use for automations, all that good fun stuff. I'm not going to show you my company vitals. ClickUp templates. And yes, if you saw that right, there is house projects. I manage my entire renovation project inside of ClickUp. My wife absolutely loves it. No, she doesn't. Anyway. So hopefully that can show you all of my ClickUp templates. I have a database and what type of template it is. Yes.
I am super nerdy when it comes to templates. Templates.
I'm all about the templates. Let's see here. Make sure we see which weather and clock embed did I use. Was it Indify or something else? So again, thank you, Abel, for just a plethora of great questions. Yes, that is Indify. And if I go into settings, this is a custom embed feature, so I can embed anything via URL or HTML. And Indify, I have an Indify widget, which is my clock, and an Indify widget, which is my weather. So I can see that right on a dashboard right inside of ClickUp. And if I can add anything to this dashboard, I could build a dashboard for days. But I'm going to cover that in a separate video training as well on how to create dashboards for yourself. You can create dashboards for your customers. Dashboards. But if you're curious too, you can check out this video right here where I talk briefly about dashboards, which is where Abel's question came from. Thank you, Abel, for the great question. I'm going to go ahead and be sure that I tag you and answer your question. Sorry it took me so long to get the follow-up to that question as well. But yes, Danny said, sorry, the services was for contracts, i.e. providers. I'm assuming you're vendors. You're looking for a place to get good vendor contracts. I don't know. Hopefully I got that right. If you want to break that down a little bit further or maybe point you in the right direction, happy to. But two resources for contract templates were for me, Tech Tribe, and if I was running an MSP, it would be Tech Tribe and Pete Matheson. But I do believe that Pete did just release something, and I thought it was contract templates. But yeah, reach out to Pete. Maybe he'll be nice. Sorry, Pete. Pete's a good guy. I don't want to give away his intellectual property for him. But yeah, just reach out. He might be able to point you in the right direction for maybe the resource that he used to get that up and running. So IT agree. I think that was a new one that I saw pop up recently as well. Not super familiar with the folks that run that. Yeah, those are the ones that came off the top of my head. The one that I used when I was running my MSP was, I haven't seen him update that in 10 plus years, his contract templates. So that was somebody that provided those as part of the Big Red Media Group, where I got those. But again, I haven't seen those templates updated in a decade, so I wouldn't rely on them if I'm running an MSP. But those are the places I would go, Danny. But thank you for the great questions on that. If anybody else is watching this after the fact as well and has some resources for Danny to get contracts for his MSP/IT business provider, drop that in the comments, tag Danny, LinkedIn, YouTube, reach out. We'll make sure you get the answers to your questions, Danny. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with us today. I'm gonna hang out for a couple more minutes and then just wrap this thing on a Friday. I haven't had lunch yet, so it's getting lunchtime. The stomach is growling. Thanks again for hanging out with me live today. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully I was able to share something with you that was valuable for the time that you spent with me. If you're watching this on the replay, just type in the hashtag replay so that I can make sure that I thank you as well. If you're watching this video on YouTube, I'm going to put timestamps in the video as well so you can go back and watch. But that is it for me on a Friday decompression session. Thank you again for joining me. If there's any trainings or things you want me to cover in a future live stream, be sure to reach out. I'm all over the place at Orange Nomad, LinkedIn, YouTube, not on Facebook.
Not really a fan of Facebook, sorry. So if you tag me on Facebook, I probably won't reply.
Sorry. Just not a super fan of Facebook. Thank you, Danny, for hanging out. Appreciate it, my friend. But that is going to wrap it for me. And as I end every single live stream that I've done for nearly 3 years now, always stay humble and kind. Always do what is necessary. I'll see you next time.